If it's Monday night, oh yes, it is the Wrestling Forum. Hello, friends. It's ridiculously over. Anthony Floyer with you once again for another exciting edition of the Wrestling Forum. Michael Bullock, our phenom, will be coming in late. He's at a group outing, so when he comes in, we will catch him up on what he missed. Simple as that. You know how we do that here. Of course, I'm joined by the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. Without any further ado, let's get right to it. This was a very exciting edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. The All-State Arena, Chicago, Illinois, formerly the Rosemont Horizon, the IWC capital of the world. Oh, yeah. You know it's always a good show when they're there. So this was no exception. So let's start it off. We started it off with an in-ring segment. We had Dean Ambrose in the ring, interrupted by Randy Orton, and then also interrupted by the New Day. And then that led into a match with Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton going up against the New Day, um, with Xavier Woods on the outside. And then from there, and when all was said and done, winners of the match in 17 minutes and 50 seconds, it was the New Day. So with that said, wow. To me, I gotta say the promo was great. I probably would say maybe the in-ring segment of the night, if I'm going to be quite honest, because there really wasn't much talking on this show, which I was very happy about. We always like it when there's a lot more wrestling action, and we got that here tonight. I mean, 17 minutes and 50 seconds in this one. I mean, this was a very good match. I would say 3.25 to 3.5 stars as far as the match is concerned. And I'm kind of not surprised New Day went over. I mean, we all know how over they are right now as far as, a tag team is concerned. I mean, they are the champions after all. And then throw in, you know, uh, the fact that they're trying to play up tension with Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton, from an ego standpoint. And then, of course, it was announced here, before the match, Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton are going to team up to take on Luke Harper and Braun Strowman at Hell in a Cell in 2 weeks in Los Angeles. So that should be a very interesting tag team match. But then again, we kind of had a feeling that was going to happen since you already know Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt are going to be meeting inside Hell in a Cell. And we'll have more on Reigns and we'll have more on that one later on because Roman Reigns was in action against Braun Strowman. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But nonetheless, though, I mean, a very, very good match. A lot of great action here. Some good near falls here. If one other match on this show didn't blow me away like that match did, I would have said I would have said this particular tag team match would have been the fight of the night as far as I was concerned. But it gets relegated to the number 2 spot because, like I said, there's one other match on this show. Michael Fletcher, I know you're going to agree with me on this. That one other match really blew me away, and I'm sure it blew you away just as much as it blew me away. So, blew me away so much I'm not even here. That's all I can say on that. But as far as this is concerned, second best fight of the night, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. And the promo, like I said, in-ring segment of the night, because there really wasn't much talking on this show, much to my delight, because I like a lot more wrestling action than talking segments, even though they're there to serve their purpose. So that's all there is to it. So with that said, Michael Fletcher, floor is yours.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I actually muted it. As you may know, I did get a brand new headset. It's a Logitech, so I just got to remember which button to use and utilize and try to make it work. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. I think you guys can. No, I agree with you for the most part, Anthony. This was about 3.25, 3.5 stars. Solid fight of the night, no doubt about it. That one of the top fights of the night. And the thing was, the one thing we were always stressing about WWE was, you got to give us something more. You got to give us something more, something better. And if you really think about it, you knew the stakes were really high because IWGP or New Japan Pro Wrestling did a show earlier this morning. If you stayed up around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., I don't know. I know I did not. I was well in bed by that time. I know, Anthony, normally you're a late bird, so I know you probably stay up, but I don't know if you stay up like that late. Derek Ferreira did. He cut a video about it. Or did on his sports blog and saying how New Japan Pro Wrestling is clearly better than WWE. So you already know where he's going with his rating. I gotta say, I thought it was a good start to the show, like I said. And on top of that, you needed momentum, and that's what it is because of the fact that you got so much going on in, you know, outside of WWE in the world of professional stuff. You know, you got the NFL, NHL is back, Major League Baseball playoffs are kicking into high gear now. So, I mean, you got a lot of stuff that WWE really has to compete with now, and that's why you got to really step it up. And I think they stepped it up and then some right out of Jump Street. I mean, the promo was solid. I liked what they did, but it's almost a one-upsmanship right now between Randy Orton and Dean Ambrose. Ambrose has been that guy, like, you know, we don't need anybody's help. We can do this on our own. And Roman, in a way, is kind of like, well, we kind of need a little bit of help, especially with the Wyatts. He's like, you know, I've been in these wars before. I've been here before. I already know how to deal with the Wyatts. So you step in back of line, Orton. Orton doesn't take a backseat to nobody. I mean, you're just asking for trouble now, Dean Ambrose. So, I mean, and you saw in the fight. There was dissension among the ranks. Like, you know, it was the big rooster trying to rule the hen house. You can't do it. You know, you can't have two alpha males try to say, "Hey, this is my coop." You know, you got to fall back in line. So, I mean, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And this is why the New Day gets the victory. Yeah, they're over, no doubt about it. The Chicago crowd was really yelling New Day rocks, no doubt about that. And it's going to lead to, I hate to say it, bad news if you're a Dean Ambrose or Randy Orton fan, because if they can't coexist, if they can't get on the same page, I hate to say this, but this could be a Ryback squash for Strowman and Harper going into that fight at Hell in the Cell. So with that said, I agree. 3 to 3.5 stars is my rating for the fight. So Anthony, let's move on.
All right, and we're gonna move on to our next match here on the Wrestling Forum, which is, just give me a moment here. Okay. Well, before we get into our next match, they did a video package previewing the Undertaker and Lesnar Hell in a Cell match, which was amazing. So, but there will be more, so we'll have to get in on that. First of two Divas matches here, we had Nikki Bella with Team Bella going up against Naomi with Team Bad. Winner of the match in an even 5 minutes, it was Nikki Bella, to no one's surprise. So with that said, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on the first of the two Diva fights here?
Better of the two Diva fights in my eyes. I clearly think this was way better than the other Diva fight we're going to talk about later on tonight. Look at what Team Bella's doing. They're trying to drive a wedge between Team Bad. You saw the video of the great, once again, another 5-star between Bayley and Sasha Banks on NXT TakeOver Respect that happened on the WWE Network last Wednesday night. And again, they're trying to drive the wedge like they did where it led to the implosion of Team PCB. Now they're trying to say Sasha's the real talent of the group. You guys, you know, Tamina and Naomi, you guys are playing second fiddle. We all know Sasha's the real star of this group, and the fans love her. They're embracing her. You guys are flashing the pans. Sasha Banks is the real star. I hate to say it, but the Bellas got this right. Sasha Banks is the real star of Team Bad. No pun intended, but she is. She's the future. She is in the right age, in the right time. And I'm sorry, but nobody really gives two what's about Tamina. Naomi had her grand moment not too long ago, and I thought maybe if this was a year ago, I think Naomi would have been like, hey, I'm the best out here and I deserve a shot. She had her opportunity, like I said, about a year ago to be the flag bearer of the Diva division. The problem was she got hurt. If we all remember, she had that eye injury, and that pretty much ended any hope of a big run for her. But since then, she hasn't really had that big of a push or anything else. Sasha Banks, all of a sudden, in my eyes, she is becoming one of the brightest divas at least when it comes to Team Bad. She's one of the brightest divas. She's got a bright future ahead of her. If you remember, she was an awesome NXT Women's Champion. And then on top of that, she's got probably two of the top women's fights of the year. I mean, from the NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn and the NXT TakeOver Respect, which was the Iron Woman fight. I mean, you could say 1A, 1B for Diva Fight of the Year, for Women's / Diva Fight of the Year. So without a doubt, she is the brightest star. And Brie Bell is like, we want Sasha. What did the Chicago fans said? Yes, we do. That tells you everything you need to know about the star power, the star quality, and strap the rocket to the back of this one, because this one's about to launch into the stratosphere. I said it once, I will say it again, Florio. You are looking at the future Divas champion, Sasha Banks. As far as the fight goes, it was a good fight. It was a solid match in my eyes. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give this about 1.5 stars. I could be pushing a little bit to 2, but 1.5 is where I'm going to go. But it was a solid fight. I thought it was good for what it was worth. But like I said again, the Bella Twins and Alicia Fox are doing a tactical move to try to split up Team Bad from Sasha, which I think would be the most brilliant move to do, because it finally makes Sasha, once she breaks away and goes on her own, I'm telling you, the boss is going to start taking over, stamping people's names on her path to being the next WWE Divas champion of the world. Florio, it's yours.
What was your rating for that, Fletch?
1.5 stars.
All right. I think I might pull the trigger and give it a solid 2 on my end. I mean, solid 2 stars. I mean, it was good Diva fight. I do agree it was definitely the better of the two. I can definitely give you that. I mean, solid effort there. I agree with you on everything you said. I mean, it's very clear Sasha Banks is going to be the future of the Divas division. I mean, the match that her and Bayley had last Wednesday, as expected. Now here's the thing. I mean, I know a lot of people, including our own Derek Ferreira, didn't really feel that it was better than Brooklyn. But I'm torn. I mean, I don't know which match was better. I mean, the Brooklyn match was unbelievable. This one here, the Iron Woman match they had, just absolutely blew me away, blew us all away. And Fletch said it best. It was another 5-star classic. I mean, the Shakespearean drama was at an all-time high, and you know, I probably would have to watch both fights again just to be absolutely positively sure. Because right now, those two matches that Bayley and Sasha had, 1A and 1B, as far as Diva Fight of the Year is concerned. That's all there is to say about that.
If I have to put a poll on it right now, I probably would say Brooklyn would get the nod, but I would say that the takeover respect fight is very close. But I think I would agree with everybody else, including Derek. I would say Brooklyn gets the slight edge, but not by much.
Even though Derek did not give it 5 stars, he rated it between 4.25 to 4.5. But it's his opinion, and we'll respect that. But to me, I felt that this was also. I mean, they're both 5-star classics. Let's not kid ourselves, but we just have to figure it out. I mean, part of me wants to give it to wants to say that the Iron Woman match was better because of the fact that a lot more emotion, considering all the superstars and divas of NXT, were out there on the stage, and then then Triple H was in there and all that. So I don't know. We're just. It's a tough. Thankfully, we got I still have a couple of months to figure that out. But let's not kid ourselves. Both of those fights are there. Sasha Banks is definitely on her way to becoming a future Divas champion in the making, and I think it's very likely that she's going to be the one to ultimately dethrone Charlotte Flair as the Divas champion down the line. We just don't know when that's going to be. Splitting her from Naomi and Tamina, Team Bad, would be a great business move because let's face it. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who are sick and tired of all this diva faction. As far as the Divas Revolution is concerned, a lot of folks don't like the faction stuff. I mean, they feel it's been going on for too long, and in a way, I kind of agree. I mean, the faction thing is starting to get tired and played out a little bit. And it's time to establish not just Sasha, but it's also time to establish all these other divas as individuals. That's the point of the Divas Revolution, as far as I'm concerned. So slowly but surely, we'll get there. That's all I can say. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to give this solid 2 stars for the effort. And, we'll just have to wait and see what happens, moving forward. So with that said, we're going to move on to our next match. And it was the John Cena United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. And we wanted it last week. This time around, a week later, we get it. We get the match we wanted. John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, United States Heavyweight Championship match. Winner of the match in 17 minutes and 40 seconds. And still the United States Heavyweight Champion, John Cena. All I can say is this. Fight of the night. 4 to 4.25 stars. Absolutely fantastic match. I mean, now do you know why we wanted this match last week? Now do you know why? Because you knew when these two if they had gone with this last week, you knew why we wanted to see it. You knew there were going to be a lot of great moves. The near falls would be aplenty, and there were plenty of near falls, trust me. And not to mention, not only just the near falls, but I felt a lot of Shakespearean drama in this fight. I mean, for those of you who like Shakespearean drama, including myself and Michael Fletcher, it was at an all-time high, my friends, in this fight. The crowd was into it. I mean, now do you know why I consider Chicago the IWC capital of the world? Just simply amazing. I mean, the atmosphere, the moves, the near falls, the Shakespearean drama, that's what makes a professional wrestling match so fun to watch. And I am so glad that they gave us this match, even though I kind of was hoping for it last week, considering how much they were hyping the Cena Open Challenge a week ago, but they didn't really hype it this time around. But as the old saying goes, sometimes less is more, and less was more, as in less hype. I mean, you remember last week that they hyped, they over. I go as far as say they overhyped the U.S. Open Challenge, and it ended up being a letdown because it ended up being Biggie Langston who took it, even though the match was solid, but there was hardly any Shakespearean drama in that fight. This fight had plenty of just that, and we here at the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports, we can't get enough of the Shakespearean drama. No one more stuff than me. But then again, Fletcher loves his share of Shakespearean drama. Michael Bullock loves his share of Shakespearean drama. We all know Derek Ferrera, of course, because, I mean, the term Shakespearean drama was his brainchild after all. And it has become one of our favorite, catchphrases and mottos here on the show. And oh, by the way, this Friday on College Football Friday, we're going to be previewing. We're going to have so many headliners on College Football Friday. I'm going to give you an advance warning right now. So many of those games on this upcoming Saturday on the next College Football Friday. There's like 6 or 7 games on Saturday when it comes to College Football Friday. Heck, I could even say the same thing about the NFL. There's like 5 or 6 NFL of the next week's NFL games. All I can say is this weekend in football, college or NFL, the Shakespearean drama is going to be at an all-time high. You heard that here first. And the fight we had tonight with John Cena and Dolph Ziggler, 2 of the most popular guys from a fan's perspective. Of course, we all know Cena. We all know his fan base, the young ladies and, of course, the young kids as well. Some men, not all men, but some men. Whereas Dolph Ziggler, of course, is like with myself and Michael Fletcher and Bullock and Derek, the 4 of us. We're all part of the IWC. Ziggler is an IWC darling. Everybody and their mother knows that. And I know that crowd was pulling hard for him. And I'll tell you, there were a couple of points in that match where I thought Ziggler was going to win it. I actually thought, now here's the thing. John Cena is going to be, within the next couple of weeks, I read a dirt sheet. I'm sure Fletch read it too. John Cena is going to be taking time off after Hell in a Cell. And he's going to be gone for 2 months. He's not due back until the day after Christmas for a live event, which I believe is I don't know if it's in Madison Square Garden or if it's somewhere else, but I know it's a live event the day after Christmas on December 26th. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes down. But for right now, John Cena and Dolph Ziggler tonight, absolutely fantastic match tonight. 4 to 4.25 stars, teetering on 4.5, but it's more like 4 to 4.25 from my taste. But I think we're both agreed this was the fight of the night, and now you know why we all wanted this one last week. Fantastic effort from both men. Job very well done. You can't ask for more as a professional wrestling fan. Michael Fletcher, how do you follow that?
4 stars. Fight of the night. No doubt about it. No arguments here. The body of work was absolutely phenomenal. The way that this fight turned out was amazing. They did the correct. Everything went right for this fight. We were 1 week too late on it, but let me tell you, it was well worth the wait. It was well worth the trouble, well worth the time, and they wanted to do a bigger fight because it was going to be in Chicago. You know what? I don't mind it. It worked. It delivered in spades and then some. No doubt about it. This was definitely the fight of the night. 4 stars is my rating for the match because of the fact that Ziggler and Cena left it all on the line. And it was actually an added bonus because during the telecast, there was a marriage proposal. Floyo, you didn't even cover that. A fan, I think it was an IWC fan or a fan from the WWE Network, WWE Universe fan, actually proposed to his girlfriend before the fight got started, and she said yes.
Just
So
found it. I mean, I found the video that you posted.
yeah.
It was news to me. That's why I didn't mention it. That was news to me, but amazing.
Well, congratulations to that couple. An awesome moment
Yes,
for that.
from all
You
of
know,
us here. From
from
all
all
of
of
us.
us here at the Wrestling Forum. And it even before the fight started, it just added a little something to the mix. It was a little more amazing, a little more, whatever you want to talk about it. It brings the drama together. The story was written really well. And let me tell you, this could be a storyline driven war between Dolph Ziggler and John Cena. I don't think we've seen the last of this. And now that the fact that Cena's going to be leaving very soon almost makes me believe that we're going to see a rematch, and thus I believe Dolph Ziggler will get the job done. He will win. He will win the match. Ziggler will win the match, and he probably will end up becoming the new United States Heavyweight Champion. It's only just a matter of time. Now, what do they do with Ziggler after that? We're gonna have to wait and see, because remember, there was a little bit of some I guess you could say unaverted attention because of what happened in the past, because of the thing between um because of the fact between it was, the John Cena. If you've been following the Total Divas, I know it, a lot of people's like, oh, is there any realness to it? It sounds like there was, because look at what they did. They The minute they showed the episode where it looked like Dolph Ziggler was trying to get back with Nikki Bella, who we never knew. They actually dated once upon a time and actually almost got engaged at one point. It kind of felt like that. A lot of the times WWE gets a little upset because they're like, oh, we don't like doing the Total Divas thing because, it's always recorded months in advance. And a lot of the times it never pans out because we can never write storylines around it or anything else. It looked like to me WWE had this in the back pocket, and now they're rolling it out. Think about it. The season finale came out. Ziggler was trying to talk to Nikki about maybe getting back together, dumping John Cena, and get back with him. And look at now. Ziggler's going after the United States heavyweight title. He tried to go after him a week ago, got jumped by the New Day. He's going after him again. He went after him again tonight. Gallant effort, came up short. What makes you think that maybe Ziggler gets another shot or tries to go after the belt again? He's got to do something, some kind of drastic move. Even he might have to go personal. And I know, Floyo, you don't like when somebody goes personal, but normally when you pull the personal card out for the only sole reason of story continuation or to make the storyline better, then I think we would say, okay, we're fine with them taking personal things. That's what we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Do they go a personal route? Does he bring up about Nikki Bella and that thing? Does he go there? We'll wait and see. But I think Ziggler and Cena, this is not over by a long shot. I think there's one or two more fights before we get the blow off. So with that said, definitely fight of the night, 4 stars. Let's move on.
Yes. Yeah, it's very tough to move on from that. But I just found the dirt sheet, and it's talking about the reason why John Cena is taking the time off from the WWE. Personal reasons, but well, initially it said it was personal reasons, but pro wrestling author and Fighting Spirit magazine contributor Scott Keith noted on his blog that a friend in the fitness industry is working on a fitness-themed reality show for the Fox network, and the show is set to air in the spring, and that particular reality show is going to be hosted by none other than John Cena. So this is very likely the reason why John Cena is going to be taking the time off from the WWE after Hell in a Cell. Taping for that show begins the day after Hell in a Cell on October 26th, and it's going to run for approximately 6 to 8 weeks. And Cena will also be featured in The Nest with Tina Fey, which is scheduled to be released on December the 18th. And then Cena, like I said, is scheduled to return, and I was correct, December 26th, live event from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. So how about that? That's the reason why John Cena will be taking the time off from World Wrestling Entertainment after the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. He's going to be taping a fitness reality show for Fox that he himself is going to be the host of. So there you have it. So mystery solved. So, all right. Let's move on now. And unfortunately, this is the time where the luck of the draw, unfortunately, is going to bite somebody in the ass. And unfortunately, Fletch is the one who's going to get it here because we had ourselves a tag team match. We had those damn Dudleys going up against the Ascension, and the winners of the match in 2 minutes and 35 seconds, those damn Dudleys. So with that said, I'm sorry, Michael Fletcher, but luck of the draw, unfortunately, does not smile on you for a change, but let's have it.
Yeah, well, this was the cool down fight. I think we all can agree with that. This was cool down. We all knew that, it was going to happen sooner or later. We had a hot start. The Cena Ziggler fight blew us away. So we needed a cup of coffee. Everybody needed to cool down, relax, and maybe go to the men's room, go to the bathroom, whatever. So they give us a fight where the Dudleys look strong, looks good, keeps them at least in line for a future WWE title shot, tag team title shot. They just want to give them, just an easy fight tonight. I think, like I said, everybody needed a minute to just collect themselves and everything else. Dud. Yeah, I could call it worst fight of the night. I think there was one that's actually even worse than this, but I will probably get into that in a little bit. Hopefully, Florio, you get hit with that shot. I'm not going there. But other than,
or Bullock if he joins us.
But right now I'm kind of thinking it's going to be a 2-man weave. The way that we're going, I really doubt if Bullock's going to make it. But if he does, he does. But I will say this. It was a dud. Definitely one of the worst fights of the night. I don't know if I can say the worst fight because I think there was one that was even worse than this. So with that said, Florio, go.
Yeah, I agree with you. An absolute dud. I'll say second worst fight of the night. I do agree with you. There was one match that was worse, and you're not going to believe what it was because it's something that there was one match that was worse, and the caliber and who was in the match. I mean, it will surprise a lot of people considering how very high up on this particular concept in WWE since it started back in the summer. But nonetheless, Dudley's showcase match for the Dudleys. Remember when the Ascension were being pegged by us as potential WWE Tag Team Champions down the line? You remember that? Yeah, me neither. I don't know what we were on at that particular point in time, but clearly we were on something back then, thinking that considering how great the Ascension were in NXT, longest running NXT World Tag Team Champions of all time before dropping those belts to the Luchas in one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset in NXT history. I mean, considering how dominant they were. They come in right around the start of the year and, they go over the New Age Outlaws at the Royal Rumble and I was the one who, I bought into the hype. But then again, we all bought into the hype. But I think nobody bought into the hype more than I did because I was so impressed with their body of work. And I eventually even said, oh, they're going to win the tag team titles at WrestleMania. Yeah, right. They weren't even involved in WrestleMania. But as far as the match was concerned. but nonetheless, like I said, I mean, just just a mess for the Ascension right now. Even if they were, even though they've been paired with Stardust recently as part of the Cosmic Wasteland, but yeah, and again, like I say, remember when they were actually, right there. I certainly don't now. Absolute dud. Second worst fight in the night, and of course the Dudley Boys. Obviously, those damn Dudleys on their way to Hell in a Cell to go up against the New Day, which I still think is going to be a tables match. And should that be the case, that's the night where those damn Dudleys will finally get their moment and finally become the WWE Tag Team Champions for a 10th time. So that's all there is to it. So absolute dud. It is, however, the second worst fight of the night. There was one match, like Michael Fletcher said, that was worse, and I know where he's going with it. Trust me, I do. So with that said, we're going to move on to our next match, and, well, unfortunately, it does not get any better. And very disappointing, if I'm going to be honest with you, considering the participants in this next match. It was also a tag team match. We had, I wonder how Michael Fletcher is going to like this tag team when we get to him. Adrian Neville and Cesaro going up against King Barrett and Mr. Money in the Bank Sheamus. Winners of the match in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. King Barrett and Sheamus. I'll tell you like this. Adrian Neville and Cesaro. Now, that could be a very interesting tag team. I really do. I mean, the high-flying ability of Adrian Neville and the ground and pound and the power and technical prowess of Cesaro could make for an interesting team. Now, normally, I don't like randomly thrown together tag teams, but this is one time I'll actually make an exception and say this randomly thrown together tag team could work out in the future if they decide to, give it a longer term deal. But I hope it's not a one-time thing. I really hope. I would love to see these two team up again in the near future. I'm very disappointed, however, because it was a way too short for my liking. Considering you got 4 talented guys here who can give you a solid 3-star match very easily based on all their bodies of work combined. I'm glad that Barrett and Sheamus got the win. I'm even more glad that Barrett got the win for his team. But it's just it was just way too short for my liking, and I really wanted to see more. I can only give this maybe about 1 to 1.5 stars, teetering on 2, because, like I said, I mean, it was way too short for my liking, but the action was solid enough for me not to crap all over it and give it a dud. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's next for these 4, but it's obvious, of course, Adrian Neville will most likely be Cesaro's tag partner in the future. Like I said, I want to see more from these two as a tag team because, I mean, those two as a tag team in the long term could actually work out. It really could, considering how over they are with the fans and you mesh together their bodies of work. It can make for an interesting pairing down the line. And of course, seeing those two together made me think about Cesaro's most recent partner, of course, Tyson Kidd, who's unfortunately sitting at home with that serious neck injury that he suffered at the hands of Samoa Joe in that dark match, back in the spring. But, hopefully he gets back soon enough. But I know it's not going to be for a long time. So, all right, 1 to 1.5 stars for the effort for this, only because it was too short for my liking. But I really wanted to see more. So this to me was my disappointing fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you. So with that said, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this tag match, and I also want to get some quick thoughts from you as far as how you feel about the pairing of Adrian Neville and Cesaro, this randomly thrown together pairing.
As far as Adrian Neville and Cesaro, I mean, it's a good pairing, no doubt about it. If it would have gotten the quality time that it did, then no doubt about it, I think this would have been something amazing. But like you said, they really rushed it. It didn't feel right. It felt off, to say the very least. And yeah, I mean, disappointment is not even the word I would describe it. It's almost like they didn't even give a you know what and why. I mean, WWE really had an opportunity here tonight to really nail a major home run, and they let it go by the wayside. I mean, without a doubt, um, beyond disappointing is even the key word. I am absolutely. I shake my head and I marvel at the dumbed downness that they did, even though it seems like WWE is trying to limit the Cesaro section, which is beyond me. When you're one of the most popular guys in WWE and you're trying to dumb it down, why? Why are you trying to take a fan base away? That's what I don't get. I mean, wouldn't it be better to let the fans have their moment? You know, start rooting for a guy like Cesaro because he's worth it. I don't know. I really feel like WWE really let this one get away, and I just feel like it was a bad situation that was brought to light, and it was very disappointing to say the very least. So, with that said, Anthony, it is all yours.
All right. We got another 2-for-1 deal as far as what we have up next. We got an in-ring segment with Roman Reigns, and then Bray Wyatt, and then interrupted by the Wyatt family, obviously, and then that led into the match. Roman Reigns going up against Braun Strowman, and the winner of the match via a countout in 7 minutes and 55 seconds was Roman Reigns. So, all right, Michael Fletcher, 2-for-1 deal for you. The Roman Reigns in-ring segment, and also the match with Braun Strowman. So, and I know you're a big Roman Reigns guy, Fletch, but I can hear by the tone in your voice, Fletcher was not impressed with this, was he?
Well, let me preface this very carefully. The segment was better than the fight. Let's say it like that. I think we can agree Roman Reigns is getting better on the mic. Not great, but he's getting better. But the star of the show is Bray Wyatt. Wyatt and the fireflies and everything about him, that aura he brings to the ring is absolutely phenomenal, and it's amazing to say the very least. And it's you got to pinch yourself every time you see it. I mean, Anthony, you got to witness it. I got to witness it. The lights go out, those camera, the flashlights, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it is absolutely, like, it's crazy to being there live, watching it. It doesn't do justice how awesome that moment is. So Bray Wyatt was really more of the carrier of that segment than anything else. And as far as the fight goes, I mean, it was okay, but it felt like a big man fight. And you already know, you already know what we say about a big man fight when it happens. Slow, dreary. You don't get that much action. The pace is a lot more meagered in the ring. And it felt like that again tonight. I can only give it about maybe 1 star, and I might even be generous with that call. Other than that, there's really nothing to say. Anthony, go.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the in-ring segment was fine. Even though when it comes to the in-ring segments, I thought the opening one with Ambrose, Orton, and the New Day was better. But this was fine. That was fine for Roman Reigns there. I mean, I wasn't really too impressed with it, but it was fine. It was okay for what it was. The match, though, yes, slow, boring, plodding, snoozer fight. If you really think about it, you can honestly say it was another one of the worst fights of the night. 1 star, yeah, I'll agree with your effort on that, Fletch. Of course, Roman Reigns, as everybody knows, will be going up against Bray Wyatt inside the Hell in a Cell, at Hell in a Cell. I got a very good feeling about that fight. I mean, I think that one is going to be amazing. So that's all there is to say about that. And Braun Strowman and Luke Harper will be going up against Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton tag team match, as announced at the start of the show tonight. So, which will be another interesting match. So we'll definitely have to wait and see how that goes down, especially since they're playing up the tension with Ambrose and Orton. So interesting to see how all this goes down within the next couple of weeks. So that's it for that. 1 star for the effort. I do agree with Fletch on that. So with that said, we're just going to move on. We had another one-on-one match. We had Rusev, accompanied by Summer Rae, going up against Ryback. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Feed me more. It was Ryback. It was Ryback time. And yeah. Okay. Where to go with this? Match was a mess. I could say this was another dud and another one of the worst fights of the night. And now, I came into this a little more intrigued by how they would handle the Rusev, Lana, Summer, Dolph saga more than anything else. Rusev gets squashed by Ryback in 3 minutes, and then Summer just slaps him in the face. And here's the thing: in real life, Rusev and Lana are engaged to be married in real life, and WWE, doing what they do best, having life imitate art, or art imitating life, rather, they acknowledge it. Screenshot has Rusev and Lana engaged, and Summer Rae, well, basically just says she will never waste another minute of her time on a narcissistic, self-centered, egotistical bastard. And she slapped Rusev and then left the ring. And Jason Powell was like, gee, how imaginative. What a letdown. Yeah, exactly. I mean, all of this was a mess. I mean, I don't know what was worse. But then again, now that I think about it, this post-match was far worse than this Ryback and Rusev fight. This Ryback-Rusev fight was an absolute dud. It was the third worst fight of the night for me. And as far as this, and then a dud enhancement fight is bad enough. But then you throw in a pointless and unnecessary blah angle. Yeah. But yeah, I wonder how this is going to play out over the next few months now. Ugh. I'm done. Fletch, just take it.
Fight was a dud. I'll give you that, Florio, but the angle's over. There's no way we can recover from that. I mean, Rusev and Lana just basically 86'd the WWE. I mean, they basically stuck the middle finger at WWE management and said, up yours, we're getting married. I know you were trying to break us up, but we're a united front and we're going to stay strong. So obviously they didn't care about the storyline. They didn't care about anything else. And supposedly, if you believe the TMZ article, this already happened about a month ago. So obviously WWE was behind the 8 ball. So was everybody else. And now this comes out about a month later? Whoa, guys, I think you kind of missed the boat here. So clearly they didn't really care about anything that happened here. So what did we get? Yeah, we got a major league rewrite on a storyline because TMZ decided to spill the guts. They dropped they spilled the tea on this, as they would say. Or if you follow another show, I'm not going to mention it. If you watch The Real on the CW, they dropped the tee-hee-hee on it. Last time I'll ever do that. But, I mean, it is what it is. It happened. It sounds like it was pretty cool. They were hanging out poolside at their home in Tennessee. This was probably around the time where Rusev was probably nursing an injury, or maybe then, I don't know. And he wanted to propose to Lana, and it's like, let's get married. She says yes. So now you had to try to keep it a secret because you're working this angle. Lana was with Dolph Ziggler. They were working Summer Rae with Rusev. Well, what has happened? Lana gets hurt. She's injured. She's out for months. So we're thinking, all right, maybe this storyline is gonna go a different route. Now all of a sudden, in one foul swoop, we find out Lana and Rusev are getting married for real. There's really no point in continuing the storyline at this point. It's basically dead in the water. So I mean, WWE literally had to scramble to rewrite an entire script because of the fact that this news got out. So basically, I understand it was rushed. Yeah, it was a bad angle, but Rusev and Lana did it to themselves. And I think WWE is going to punish them big time for this because of the fact that whatever they had in mind, now they got to basically back the truck up, restart from scratch, and figure out something for Rusev now because this news got out. Because remember, Lana's still out. So we can't get Lana back in time so that she could maybe avenge Summer Rae for what happened. Maybe you can have Rusev and Lana turn face and then let them be on their own, but it's basically a bad situation that got made worse right before our eyes. So basically, Rusev and Lana basically caused a major, major problema, and basically it was bad enough where the angle was going. Now it just got matters worse thanks to TMZ. So there's really nothing you could done there. At that point, it was basically ball game at that point. There's nothing you can do. So yeah, everything was a complete and utter mess. You could even call this the entire segment the worst segment of the night. So with that said, Anthony, let's move on.
And we're going to move on to our next match. The Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Kevin Owens one-on-one with Lucha Dragon Kalisto. And the winner of the match in 3 minutes and 50 seconds, it was the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Kevin Owens via the pop-up powerbomb. So, Michael Fletcher, no secret, your love affair with Kevin Owens. How did you feel about this particular fight?
It was, I didn't like it. No, I'm sorry. They gotta give him somebody better. I just think that what they did, it doesn't mean anything special. It was too predictable. It just didn't really sit well at all. I don't like the way that it came out. I thought it was kind of rushed. I understand they're trying to maintain the credibility because of what they did earlier on. It just didn't work for me. I didn't like it. I thought this was a complete waste of time, at least in my eyes. You could say this was another dud. Anthony, go.
And hey, Michael Bullock has just joined us, so we're gonna catch him up in just a little bit. But before we do that, I'll give my thoughts on this match, and then we'll catch Bullock up on what he's missed, which has been quite a bit. So we'll give him his time in a moment. But yeah, I know Fletch is saying it was a dud, and I can understand that. But I didn't really see why this would be a dud. I mean, I thought this was a solid match for what it was, and I mean, I didn't like the Sin Cara fight, but I kind of felt that as far as the two Lucha fights go, this one was the better one, to be honest with you. And of course, the IWC went nuts for Kevin Owens. I mean, that's what I was the most excited about, when Kevin Owens was going to show up in Chicago, because you knew that crowd was going to be all over him, and yes, they were. I knew they would be. But at the end, though, this was. I'll give it 1 to 1.5 for the effort, because it was too short. Because it was another short match. So So that's really all I can say on that. Owens, of course, will be going up again. Will be defending the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against Ryback at Hell in a Cell. So we'll get into that. So Michael Bullock has just joined us now, folks. So don't worry, you're going to get your feet on fixed. Don't worry. So he's here and now. So we got a lot of catching up to do, Mr. Bullock. So I'm glad you got in when you did. Gives Fletch and me a little breather here because we've been going nonstop since we started. So, all right, Michael Bullock, let's start you off. Started the show with a 2-for-1. You know, we had the in-ring segment with Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton, along with the New Day, and then it led into that tag team match with Ambrose and Orton against the New Day, with the New Day winning in 17 minutes and 50 seconds. So, Michael Bullock, it's catch-up time, man. Let's go.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio. Yes, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock here for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Delighted to be here as always. As far as the opening segment goes, I thought this was a fine opening segment, and I mean, basically, Randy Orton got a nice reaction and talking about what happened last week on SmackDown, where Orton was fighting the Wyatts, and then he announced that at Hell in a Cell, as a matter of fact, it'll be on the Hell in a Cell kickoff. It'll be him and Dean Ambrose going up against Luke Harper and Braun Strowman, and and then there was a nice little back and forth going on between Orton and Ambrose, and then we get an interruption from the New Day, and basically the New Day was saying, you know what, we stood tall over John Cena and Dolph Ziggler last week on Raw. I mean, basically he was telling them that the Shield never did that, and Randy and Evolution could never do that as well. So basically, he was trying to. And then basically Xavier Woods tells Orton and Ambrose to pull a Derrick Rose and sit on the bench, and you know that got the IWC all pissed off, because remember, we are in Chicago and there are a lot of Bulls fans here. So, and then Kane basically came up and on the screen says, you know what, tonight we're going to get the New Day going up against Randy Orton and Dean Ambrose. So I thought this was a strong opening segment, and when it comes to this match, I'm gonna say 3.5 stars, 3.5, 3 3/4 for the match here, and I thought this was a really good match here. We had a lot of good action here, and basically a lot of, we got some Shakespearean drama. So, but then in the end, the New Day gets the win here. Basically, with Kofi Kingston basically sending Orton into Dean Ambrose, and then Kofi with the roll-up, the roll-up of doom. So I think because of that, I'm going to have to say 3.5, maybe 3.25 to 3.5 stars. So, yeah, but this was a solid match. I just didn't like the finish with the roll-up, but you know what? It is what it is. So 3.25, 3.5 stars is my rating. So Florio, what's the next match?
It was Nikki Bella one-on-one with Naomi, with Nikki Bella winning in an even 5 minutes.
I thought it was a fine match. Definitely was too short for my liking. So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna say probably 1 to 1.5 stars as my rating for the match here. I mean, yes, it was too short, but I thought the action was good for what it was, and basically the action was good, of course, with the nice back and forth with Naomi and Nikki, and basically, but in the end, it was a nice little distraction from Brie, basically with the the chanting "We want Sasha," and then, well, Sasha Banks decided to shut her up by tripping her, and then Nikki uses the rack attack to get the win. So yeah, so 1.5 stars. So that being said, Florio, what's the next match?
The John Cena United States Heavyweight Championship Open Challenge. John Cena versus Dolph Ziggler. Winner of the match, and still the United States Heavyweight Champion, John Cena, 17 minutes and 40 seconds. Your thoughts on this?
All right, well, this was definitely my fight of the night here. I'm going to say this is about 3 3/4 of a star, and of course, you knew because this was an IWC crowd, you knew John Cena was going to get crucified big time, and he did. And yes, this was a really good match here. This was my fight of the night with a lot of back and forth and Shakespearean drama at the absolute finest. And yeah, Ziggler really, I really thought he was going to get a chance to win this match, but once again, Super Cena comes through with the AA and gets the win. So yeah, so fight of the night for me, 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. So with that being said, Florio, next match.
All right. Let's see what we have here.
I think it's the Dudleys and the Ascension.
Yeah, Dudley Boys against the Ascension. Dudley's winning. The Dudleys won that in 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
Yeah. To me, this was an absolute dud. This was one of the worst fights of the night. This was basically just to show. To keep the Dudley Boys strong going into their tag team title match against the New Day. So yeah. So basically, the Ascension. What is going on with them? Who could ever forget it? NXT. They were the longest reigning NXT tag team champs in history. And what's happened here? Nothing for me to be impressed with. But all I can say is, of course, this was an absolute dud. And, of course, Florio, you know where I'm going with this whenever the Dudley Boys win. It's, oh my brother, oh, testify! So, dud, move on.
All right. Another tag team match. Adrian Neville and Cesaro against King Barrett and Mr. Money in the Bank Sheamus. King Barrett and Sheamus, the winners, in 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
All right. This was another short match here, but I'm going to give it maybe half to 1 star for the effort here. Really wasn't feeling the match at all. So yeah. And it's a damn shame this had to be a short match, especially when you have someone like Cesaro in there. So yeah. So half to 1 star. Let's just move on, Florio.
All right. Next up, we had another 2-for-1. We had an in-ring segment with Roman Reigns, interrupted by the Wyatt family, and then, of course, it led into the match. Roman Reigns one-on-one with Braun Strowman. Winner of the match via a countout in 7 minutes and 55 seconds. It was Roman Reigns. So your thoughts on all this, Vaughn?
All right. Yeah, I thought this was another fine opening I thought this was another fine segment here. Yeah, basically, Roman Reigns says, it's good to be in Chicago, and basically, he continues, of course, talking about Bray Wyatt, costing him, of course, Money in the Bank, and of course, how him and Ambrose beat the Wyatts at SummerSlam, and how the war keeps going on, and yeah, and then of course we have Bray Wyatt who cuts him off, and then Bray Wyatt. Well, what can you say about it? He cuts another good promo here, and basically saying, you know what? Who are you trying to convince? These people, or yourself? He says, you know what, I will take the blame because at the end of the day, Reigns put this tragedy on himself, and that there is a massacre awaiting you, Roman Reigns, at Hell in a Cell. I mean, Reigns said, you know what, I agree, but Bray, you need to know that when the cell is locked, you're going to wish you were trapped there with anyone but Reigns. And then basically he drops the, Wyatt drops the mic, and then we have the match. So, yeah, as far as the match goes, I'm going to give it about maybe another 1 to 1.5 stars. Once again, we get another cop-out finish here. Yeah, really wasn't that big into this match. So, yeah, but basically it continues the ongoing war between Roman Reigns and the Wyatt and Bray Wyatt. So, yeah, so really got nothing else to say except let's move on to the next match.
And that was it was Rusev versus Ryback. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. Feed me more. It was Ryback, and then all this stuff with the Rusev and Lana engagement, Summer Rae, and all this stuff. So, all right, well, your thoughts on all that?
All right. I'm going to give it half a star for the effort here. I know some people are going to say it was a dud, and I have every right to give this a dud, but I thought there was a little all right action here. But yeah, Ryback gets the win when, of course, basically he finally hits the shell shock. So yeah, and then after that we get Summer Rae on the mic, and she brings up the big announcement that we heard that Rusev and Lana are engaged, and well, let's just say she was not too happy about that. She said, well, she could have done this in the back, but she wants the whole world to know the real man Rusev is to Summer. And then we get that clip, and Summer basically says, you know what, I had to find out about this online, that he's been engaged to Lana for a month. And then she said, you know what, every single person here thinks Rusev is some strong, dominant force, but he's nothing more but a whipped little boy, and she basically thanks him because she will never waste another minute of her time on a narcissistic, egotistical, lying, cheating bastard. And then she slaps Rusev and leaves the ring, and all I can say is, damn, Summer Rae, tell us how you really feel. Oh my gosh. And Rusev basically was yelling like crazy. So yeah, really got nothing else to say except Florio. I think I'm caught up now, right?
Yeah, I believe the last match we were talking about was the match with the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Kevin Owens versus Lucha Dragon Kalisto. Kevin Owens won that in 3 minutes and 50 seconds via the pop-up powerbomb. So, your thoughts on that?
Again, I'm going to give this about, you know what, I'm going to actually give this a dud. I mean, I really wasn't into this match at all, so, yeah, but once again, it's just to make Kevin Owens look strong going into that Intercontinental title match against Ryback at Hell in a Cell, so really got nothing else to say except let's move on, Florio.
All right, Bullet's all caught up. So with that said, let's just move on, and we're going to move on to the second of our two Diva fights here tonight. It was the Divas champion. Well, it was a tag team match. It was Divas champion Charlotte and Becky Lynch, accompanied by Natalya, going up against Brie Bella and Alicia Fox with Nikki Bella in their corner. Winners of the match in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. It was Brie Bella and Alicia Fox. This, to me, was an absolute dud. This, to me, was the worst fight of the night. And to be quite honest with you, oh, man. For the first time, I can honestly remember saying, since the Divas Revolution started, typical ho-hum Diva fight. I never thought I'd be saying that again, but, it is what it is, and that's exactly what this was. I mean, and to make matters worse, you have Charlotte do the job, to Brie Bella, for goodness sakes. Like, yeah, way to make her look like a strong champion there. Yeah, that's all I can say on that. So to all of you in WWE for trying to make Charlotte look like a Divas champion, and God forbid you make her do a job to the friggin' Bellas here. You have her job to Brie Bella in this fight. Yeah, thanks a pantload, Chet. Appreciate it. So that's all there is to say about that. So, worst fight of the night, typical ho-hum diva fight. This is another disappointing fight, and I can say this is the more disappointing fight. That I thought this was even more disappointing than the match with Adrian Neville and Cesaro against Barrett and Sheamus. I thought that was going to be halfway decent, but that wasn't. So, really nothing left for me to say except thanks to Pantload, Chet. Really appreciate it. So, all right, Bullet, go ahead.
Damn, Florio. Tell us how you really feel, man. Oh, man. Yeah, I do agree. This was an absolute dud. This was indeed another one of the worst fights of the night. I mean, yeah, way to go, WWE. Way to make, your Divas champ Charlotte look good here by having her job to Brie Bella. I mean, really? Really? I mean, basically, and then, after the match, during the match, while Natalya was basically at ringside to cheer on, Paige then shoves Natalya, so obviously the feud between Paige and Natalya continues here. So, yeah, I really got nothing more to say except absolute dud. And, yeah, WWE, way to make your Divas champ look good by having her job to Brie Bella. Congratulations, you morons. Fletcher, it's yours.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are really upset about it. I'm not gonna waste anybody's more time about it. Yes, it was a dud. Yes, it was the worst fight of the night. Yes, it was beyond disappointing. We were expecting so much more, and it went by the boards. So, there's nothing else to save this. So, Florio, let's just move on.
Okay. All right. I just had a little glitch on my end. Okay, here we go. And I believe now it's main event time here on the forum. It was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins versus originally it was originally supposed to be Corporate Kane, but then it ended up being the Demon Kane in a lumberjack match. Winner of the match in 8 minutes and 20 seconds, it was the Demon Kane. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the main event?
I'm gonna say about probably about 1 to 1.5 stars is my rating for the match. Basically, we thought we were gonna get a Corporate Kane, but we get Demon Kane instead, and we get utter chaos here during this match. Seth Rollins continues to try to escape, but the Lumberjacks try to grab him. Start off with Cesaro grabbing him and throwing him back in there, and then Kane with a clothesline on him, and then Kane basically gets taken out by the New Day, and then here comes Big Show. Then they stare each other down, and then the Ascension starts attacking, and then here comes the Big Show with a KO punch to Kane, and then Kane gets sent back into the ring by the New Day, and then we get more chaos with the and basically looked like Kane was gonna, once Kane hits the superplex from the top, and looks like he's getting the win, but the New Day yanks him out, and then it's really utter chaos, and basically Kane, of course, chokeslam Stardust, and then and then Xavier Woods gets chokeslam, and then we get the pedigree attempt by Seth Rollins, and then and then Kane hits the tombstone pile driver and gets the 1-2-3. So I'm gonna say probably about 1 to 1.5 stars. So Fletcher, it's yours.
Yeah, I could say about 1.5 stars is the right rating. I could even push it to 1 3/4, to say the very least. It was a good fight. You always expect chaos and absolute pandemonium when it comes to a lumberjack match. It was good for what it was worth. I'm not gonna say it was the best thing since sliced bread, but I mean, what can you say? It was a good fight. It was solid enough. I enjoyed it. But it served its purpose. The Demon King gets the victory. He gets some momentum going into the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. He does. It serves the justice. But here it is. Booking 101. Kane already got the upper hand. You kind of hope that next week Rollins gets his payback on the Demon King. That'll even it out, because if they actually let this simmer, then we already know what the outcome's going to be. But at the end of the day, you just got to handle it what you got to handle. They're serving the purpose of getting everything all set it up. And the thing was, there was no authority. So Triple H and Stephanie was playing the role that, we have problems with our flight. We're running a little late. We're gonna try to make it to Chicago, but there's no guarantee. They never made it. They never made it to Chicago. So basically, Kane, the director of operations, was running the whole show the entire night. And now we're going to see what happened next week on Monday Night Raw. But I will say this. This actually ended up being a fairly decent show. I think WWE is starting to turn the corner a little bit. You'll hear in my overall ratings, because I'll get to lead that off in a little bit. But as far as this fight goes, 1.5, 1 3/4, maybe flirting with 2. I know I might be reaching on the 2, but I'll say 1.5, 1 3/4. I'll give it that much. So Anthony, go ahead.
I'll give it the solid 2. I mean, I felt this was it was a solid enough match. I mean, there were a couple of good near falls in that one. I mean, the lumberjack gimmick definitely played out here big time. And what's a lumberjack match? What's a lumberjack match without at least a crazy brawl, a crazy Royal Rumble like brawl? And that's exactly what we got here. I mean, you knew there was going to be utter chaos during that fight. Come on, everybody knew that. It's a lumberjack match, for goodness sakes. That's all there is to it. So, but for me, it was a solid 2-star effort. And yes, booking 101 is going to rear its ugly head once again. I mean, Kane's going to get the Duke here, but we all know what that means. Come October 25th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, Seth Rollins is going to successfully defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Kane, and it's going to be bye-bye Corporate Kane. And quite frankly, it couldn't have come at a better time. It's the Corporate Kane character, tired, laid out. That's all there is to it. So it had its moments, yes, but quite frankly, full-time Demon Kane, that's what I want. That's what Bullock wants. So that's it for that. So we're just going to move on. So 2 stars for that. And I can honestly say it was the 3rd best fight of the night, really. So all right. Overall review time here. Michael Fletcher, yay or nay on this show?
I'm actually going to say yay. And I'm actually going to shock you guys. 7 stars. Well done, WWE. I mean, it could have been a little better. I'm gonna say that, but you had an awesome 4-star fight between John Cena and Dolph Ziggler. I mean, the opening segment definitely proved to be good. You had a solid Diva fight where I believed, which was Naomi and Nikki Bella. But there were a few downers, but I say it kept a consistent pace throughout the night. You had some good fights, you had some bad fights, you had some cool down moments, then it revved up a little bit. You had a decent main event segment, but it was nice filler or nice stuff that they talked about that led to the pay-per-view. So we got more story progression, and it actually worked. Plus, you were in Chicago, the crowd was hot, so it actually worked out tonight. This was actually a very successful Monday Night Raw. At least in my eyes, this was a successful Monday Night Raw, and thus I'm going to say it: solid 7 stars. Anthony, go.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that, Fletch. I mean, 7 out of 10. I do feel that is the correct rating for the show, even though I do have every right to go a little lower because of the enhancement fights. But it was particularly those two standout matches for me. I mean, John Cena, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton against the New Day. Those were the 2 fights of the night, far and away. I mean, the match, I mean, the body of work of the matches were both incredible, but Cena and Ziggler was just a smidge better, if I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, that was a solid 4 to 4.25 stars on my end. And then the 3.25 to 3.5 for the tag match. And then I probably would say third best fight would have to be Rollins and Kane, about 2 to 2.25 there. And then rounding out the top 4 would be Nikki Bella and Naomi. Solid 2, about 1.5 to 2 there. But there were quite a few done enhancement fights, though. But you know, it was just some of these matches were just too short for our liking. But Fletch pretty much touched on everything else. I agree with everything he said on that. So he basically made all my points for me. So I'm not going to reiterate it. So that's it. Solid 7 out of 10. Show could have been better, but you know, but I felt it was a solid enough show for our taste. And I mean, after all, it is Chicago. So, and of course, it was announced that Thursday night on SmackDown, we're going to have ourselves a 6-man tag team match, all 3 members of the New Day against the Dudley Boys and the Lunatic Fringe Dean Ambrose. Now that should be an interesting 6-man come tomorrow night. Of course, we'll find out how that all went down when we read the spoilers right around this time tomorrow night. So with that said, 7 out of 10. Fletch, you basically touched on everything. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your overall thoughts on the show tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to make it unanimous. I'm going to say a solid 7 out of 10 as well. Basically, I mean, Fletcher pretty much touched on everything, with the top fights of the night being the tag team match with Reigns and, I mean, not Randy Orton and Dean Ambrose against the New Day. And of course, John Cena and Dolph Ziggler was a really good U.S. title match, and basically you had some other matches that were basically okay to meh. So, but it's that Chicago crowd that was basically that helped out in making this a good edition of Monday Night Raw. So 7 out of 10, and boys, all I can say is next week's Raw, it's going to be a real good one. The Go Home to Hell in a Cell edition of Monday Night Raw. And we got a lot of things going down. And of course, we already know part of that. We got Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, and the Texas Rattlesnake himself, Stone Cold Steve Austin. They'll be in the house, along with the 2 combatants.
Wait, stop. Bullock, you're wrong. Austin's not going to be there. That just got confirmed. That just got confirmed just minutes ago by WWE. They're only promoting Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair to be there with Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. There is no Austin next week. You are wrong.
Wow. That's news to me, Fletch. So so it's basically now going to be just Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair there, because, well, let's not forget, because Stone Cold's going to be doing his podcast immediately after next week's Raw with Brock Lesnar as his guest. And yes, you also got the Dead Man and the Beast Brock Lesnar. They'll be in the house as well on the final Raw. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens when these two are in the same building. I mean, could we get some kind of an altercation? Maybe. And Florio, you and I, we've been hoping for this. Maybe a contract signing between the two. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But Yeah, so 7 out of 10. So, Florio, let's put a bow on this edition of the Wrestling Forum.
And that's indeed what we're going to do right here and now. That
And
will
I'll lead
conclude.
off with the shout-outs.
Yes, that you will, Bullock. Let me just set it up. I'll put a bow on this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We want to thank you all very much for tuning in. So, of course, it is time for our usual shout-outs. Michael Bullock will start it, and then it'll be Fletcher, and then I'll wrap up the shout-outs, and then I'll promote the future content. And oh boy, I mean, this weekend, we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. With our two big football shows. I'll have more on that in a minute. So, all right, Michael Bullock, it's all yours, man. Let's have your shout-outs.
All right. Of course, we thank you all so very much for tuning in for another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Definitely was another great show here tonight. And, of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or Strictly Sports. We thank you all so very much. Of course, shout outs to our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, and Jason Hicksonball. Of course, shout-outs to all of our friends from our high school days, Al Britterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the First Lady of Strictly Sports, Kaiser Butler, to the Grand Poobah himself, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferrer, for his continued success on the sports blog. So, yes, so that's pretty much going to do it for me. I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night for Strictly Sports College Football Friday, and I'll let you know right now, Florio, I am in for Friday night, so just wanted to get that off my chest. So until Friday night for an all-new edition of Strictly Sports College Football Friday, this is the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Bullock, saying thank you all so much for listening to us. And of course, you know the routine. Thumbs up, talk to you later, yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. Enjoy the rest of your week. And, of course, God bless and be good to each other. So, with that being said, Fletcher, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, and thank you for everything you guys have done this past week. I know I want to apologize for not being on Strictly Sports College Football Friday or Saturday. I was basically kind of busy with some other things that was going on in my life. As you've been following me on Facebook. You two guys are probably the most professional, and you guys deserve to be commended. What you guys have been doing with both shows has been absolutely astronomical, and you deserve a tip of the cap, my fellow brothers. So Anthony, Mike Bullock, well done doing the job. I will say this, that I am definitely in for Friday night. I can definitely confirm that I will be on College Football Friday. There is no doubts about that. As always, to the fans, you guys are the best in the world. I keep saying that, and trust me, I believe it. You guys have always been there for us. You've been you've been viewing it, commenting it, leaving likes. And you keep doing it time after time after time. Any type of project, if it's Anthony on his solo, myself with the Ranger Roundup, myself with the Miami Dolphin Recap, you guys have come and helped us out. Derek with his sports blogs. It is so unbelievable, the love and the support and everything I get. A couple of the guys from the 2184 crew keeps talking to me about certain things. Actually, I actually had a friend, Anthony. You remember that lady friend that we had when we were chatting on Saturday about the luxury box, which oddly enough is becoming the Strictly Sports hangout because Michael Bullock was there yesterday. So I mean it's definitely, without a doubt, there's a lot of love, there's a lot of support for all of us on social media, and you guys are absolutely astronomical. We love you guys. Thank you, as always. to the super fans, you guys already know who you guys are. Special happy birthday to our boy Tommy Souza. It actually went down yesterday, but this is our first time to at least officially acknowledge it here tonight on our show. So happy birthday, Tommy. We love you, man. To our friends from the junior high and high school days, you guys already know who you guys are. To my friends at the 2184 crew, I love you guys. I had a blast with you guys this past Friday, hanging out with some of the old and the new. There's some photos up there already. Bottom of my heart, guys, I've been there for 7 years, and you guys, they're like my second family, man. I'm just saying like that. I got my brothers in the wrestling form in Strictly Sports, which is Anthony, Mike, and Derek, and then there's the special ones who I have very near and dear into my heart: Megan, Kaiser, a few others that I will mention, and then there's that second family, like I said, which is the 2184 crew, and I'll say it like this: we ride to die with that crew, and I'll always go. I'll say that every time from now until the big man upstairs tells me it's time for me to come back to him. But I will always ride with them forever. So I love them. They're awesome. I can't. I don't even know what I would be doing without these guys. They've always been there for me through the good times, through the bad times, just like Anthony, just like Derek, just like Bullock. You guys have been with me for almost 2 decades now. I mean, we've been through everything. So that's why you guys have a special place in my heart. And that's all I can say about that. So with that said, thank you. See you guys on Friday night. You guys already know the routine. Hugs and hand pounds. I am out. Anthony, take it home.
Oh my goodness, I don't even know how I can follow that, Michael Fletcher. My goodness, it sounds like someone's been to church lately. I mean, all I can say right there. I mean, take me to church, Michael Fletcher. My goodness, but I love it. I love it. I mean, very much appreciated on that, buddy. We missed you the other night, but hey, I mean, like Derek says, we all have lives outside of YouTube, and clearly you showed that the other night, and it's very clear you had a great time the other night. One of your 2184 crew members' birthdays there, as I saw. So, and then your usual Saturday night things. So, yeah, I mean that's what it's all about, man. And one of these days, I'm definitely going to check out that place myself. So, but yes, let me see. Special shout outs to all of our tremendous fans out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports as ridiculously over as they are. We appreciate it as always. Best fans in the world, you already know that. Of course, our super fans out there, Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. Very excited Matt Ward, I'm sure, because his Chicago Cubs victorious tonight against the St. Louis Cardinals, an 8-6 win, and the Chicago Cubs are now 1 win away from going to the National League Championship Series for the first time since that. One more win, man. That's all there is to it. One of those. Our other super fans like Jason Hicksonbaugh and Daniel Luttrell from the UK. We wish them the very best as always. And of course, yes, indeed, and a possible day with the New York Mets as well, Michael Fletcher. You're right, because the New York Mets were also victorious tonight, a 13-7 win against the Los Angeles Dodgers. One more win, and who knows? We could be looking at a Chicago Cubs, New York Mets, NLCS. I mean, what a series that would be! All I can say, but we'll see. And the American League series are both in 5 games, so winner take all Game 5s on Wednesday. So definitely looking forward to seeing how those play out and see who will be in the ALCS. But nonetheless, though, Matt Ward, I'm sure, very excited. I mean, like I said, one more win, and they go on to the NLCS for the first time since 2003. So could this be the year? Could this be the magical year that Cubs fans have been waiting forever and a day for? So we'll see. Time will only tell. Of course, I mentioned Jason Nixonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, Megan Silva, Kaiser Butler, and of course, we can't forget a very special happy birthday indeed to one of the senior members of our brotherhood, the one and only Mr. Tommy Souza. I mean, you know, Fletch. I mean, you and I mean, we've known him long enough. I mean, we all know him. I mean, Bullock met him in high school. I know during those printing classes in the book school. I know that. But you and I, Fletch. I mean, we've known him a lot longer than that. I mean, it was in the fall of 1994. I'll never forget it. The fall of '94. The original Fortune 4, if you think about it. The original Fortune 4. Myself, you, Derek Ferreira, and of course, our spark plug, the one and only Tommy Souza, and then the rest is history. The rest, as they say, is history. And then, we were like the original Four Horsemen. So, yeah. But Tommy Souza, we miss him here. We do hope that one day.
Wait! Whoa! Hold up! I hate to interrupt this, but
What's up?
I think there's gonna be a rant tonight. I just found out that the Braun Strowman versus Luke Harper, Randy Orton versus Dean Ambrose has just been put to the pre-show.
Pre-show fight?
You heard me right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a cheap shot.
Yeah. Apparently, this has been put to the pre-show. I'll even send you the link.
Oh wow!
Wait a minute. I actually have already seen it on the WWE app page, and I saw it. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, what?
Holy guacamole! I mean, that changes everything. So, yeah. I mean, if you didn't hear,
I'm sorry. I got a problem with that.
Randy Orton and Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper and Braun Strowman pre-show fight for Hell in a Cell.
Really?
Who's the Dinkelberg that came up with that decision?
Maybe. Well, okay. Let me try to explain the theory. I don't think you guys are gonna care, because I think you guys are gonna rip it to shreds anyway. But maybe this might be their way, because remember, UFC has always been notorious for this, where there's always been a really good last-second fight before they do the main card. Maybe this is WWE's version of saying, we're putting a pay-per-view quality fight for free on the WWE Network, just so that you guys can just whet your appetite before the main show. That's what I'm thinking. But I don't know.
Well, when you put it that way, Fletch, I mean, I can certainly understand that. They obviously, I mean, we don't like it. I mean, we're not fans of it. But now that you mention it, I mean, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they always, you always want to get the crowd riled up, and it is Los Angeles, for goodness sakes. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. We'll have to wait and see. But that's definitely some major breaking news here on the Wrestling Forum. But nonetheless, getting back to my shout-outs, like I said, I mean, Tommy Souza, like you said, 21 years, Fletch and I have known him. I know Bullock's known him a lot less than that, but, from the high school days, and the book school days, and I'm sure but nonetheless, though, a very special happy birthday to Tommy Souza. I hope he and his family had a very great day, had a blessed day, and all that. So we miss you, buddy. We're thinking of you, and we're hopeful that one day we can have the entire brotherhood right back here on the show, and that would certainly be a Kodak moment, to say the very least, if that ever happens. Or in this day and age, an Instagram moment or a social media moment, which would be amazing for us. So. Hope one day we can have that happen. So a very special happy birthday indeed to our own Tommy Souza. Of course, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Bradison, and Rob Parsons to round out that crew. And I'll save the rest of my shout-outs for Friday night. I just want to say one thing. When it comes to my shout-outs on Friday night, I'm going to have one of my most very special shout-outs of all time, because it's a special day for a very special someone in my life. So I definitely want to save that for Friday night, and that's going to be the. They always say save the best for last. You better believe I'm going to save that one for last. Believe you me. So that will put the bow on this. But future content, you know where we're going with this, gentlemen. I'm glad we're all going to be here Friday night for College Football Friday, because let me tell you something right now, gentlemen. I'm officially going to dub this upcoming Week 7 of college football as simply this: Shakespearean. It's going to be Shakespearean drama week. Because I see here several headline matchups when it comes to this upcoming week of college football, and it all starts on Thursday. It's a damn shame we're not going to get to preview this game, but number 18 UCLA going up against number 15 Stanford in Palo Alto. It starts right there, UCLA against Stanford. And then Friday night, there's two more ranked games. Number 21 Boise State going up against Utah State. That will be on the CBS Sports Network at 9. Oh, by the way, that Thursday game's at 10:30 on ESPN. And then Friday night at 9 on CBS Sports Network, Boise State against Utah State. And then also at 9 on ESPN University, number 24 Houston will be going up against Tulane. So there you have that. Now, as far as the headline matchups on Saturday go, when it comes to it, you can make an argument. There's several Game of the Week candidates. In no particular order. USC against Notre Dame. You can make an argument for maybe Penn State against Ohio State because of the history of that rivalry. Louisville against Florida State. Iowa against Northwestern. West Virginia against Baylor. Oklahoma against Kansas State. But to me, there are three headliners in particular that really stand out to me. Number 7 Michigan State against number 12 Michigan in the Big House on ESPN. We're getting this game. Yes, thank goodness for that. The SEC on CBS, number 10 Alabama against number 9 Texas A&M. And then at 7 o'clock on ESPN, number 8 Florida against number 6 LSU, which will be very interesting now because of the fact that Florida's star quarterback, Will Grier, has been suspended for the rest of the season after testing positive for performance-enhancing drugs. So, hard times indeed. So, all those headliners, my goodness gracious. Oh my Lord in heaven, those are going to be some headliners to say the very least. That will be on Friday. And then, of course, Saturday, NFL Saturday, look at the headliners. Look at the headliners coming up for the upcoming week of the NFL, in Week 6 of the NFL. None bigger than the New England Patriots against the Indianapolis Colts. You've also got the Cincinnati Bengals against the Buffalo Bills, the San Diego Chargers against the Green Bay Packers, the Arizona Cardinals against the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Carolina Panthers against the Seattle Seahawks, and a whole lot more. Think about that. So this football weekend, I'm officially going to dub it on both ends, on both the college and the NFL end. I'm just going to simply dub it as Shakespearean Drama Weekend. Because all those games that I just mentioned, all those headline games, there's a very good possibility we're going to get some high drama in that. And quite frankly, being the Shakespearean drama junkies that we all are, you better believe we're going to be buckling our seatbelts because it's going to be a wild ride come this weekend. And quite frankly, I cannot wait to dive in and dissect every nook and cranny of all those headline matchups. So that will put the bow on this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So until Friday night for our loaded College Football Friday show, it's ridiculously over Anthony Floyer here for the Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher, for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, of course, the Hardcore Pipe Bomb, Derek Ferreira himself, saying, you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And until Friday night for College Football Friday, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. All right, for now, my friends, God bless. Be good to each other. And for now, me Florio. So long.